giving importance. So the feeling of insecurity will be more among the disabled children. See, this attitudinal behavior of the teachers, parents, society and the peer group are the major reasons for unsuccessful inclusive education. That is the attitudinal barrier. Okay. Now physical barrier. Generally, physical barrier అనేది ఏంటంటే physically disabled. You might have come across. See, what happens is that you are, even the government is trying its best to give education to all, education for what is that disabled children, and education for disabled children, especially girl child free transport. But still, you could see that there are drawbacks. Now, for the disabled children, the accessibility to many learners, especially to those with physical disabilities and marginalized group. Okay, so what happens? There are no schools. There are no schools for the children who are physically disabled. So rural areas you don't find schools where you can where education can be given. And within the near distance of 5 kilometers, accessibility for the physically disabled children is not there. Okay. Even if you find if there are schools within a span of 5 kilometers, according to the government norms, in order to have a successful 100% enrollment of the students, schools should be there within a span of 5 kilometers, so that it would be easy for the children to access the school facilities. Okay, ఇవన్నీ మనం కొన్ని రీజన్స్ లో ఏంటంటే ఫిజికల్ డిసేబుల్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళకు యాక్సెసిబిలిటీ లేదు. ఉన్నా కానీ ఏంటంటే ఫిజికల్ డిసేబుల్డ్ వాళ్లకు దే ఆర్ నాట్ ప్రొవైడింగ్ ఆల్ ద ఫెసిలిటీస్. లైక్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద ఫెసిలిటీస్ జనరల్లీ యూ నీడ్? లైక్ వీ హ్యావ్ ద ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ ఫెసిలిటీస్, ఓకే, ద బిల్డింగ్స్, ద ర్యాంప్స్, ఓకే, దెన్ what is that wheelchairs, okay, washrooms. So ilanti facilities where the students feel at ease coming to the school. They should have a feeling that okay, it is very comfortable in schools. That physical disability should not be a disability for the child to stay away from the school. So looking into the disability of all the children, the facility should be provided, like separate ramp should be there, separate classroom which are easy. Okay, sometimes even if possible, a lift should be provided for disabled children, wheels, crutches. Okay, so looking into the drawbacks, looking into the disability of the child, if according to their convenience, if we give all the facilities, then that would be that will not be a hurdle. But you might have come across in most of the schools, even if it is an inclusive school, you see that the facilities are not up to the mark. Physically disabled children are finding it difficult to enjoy the school atmosphere because of the lack of the facilities, because there are no proper ramps, there are no proper stairs, there are no proper washrooms, there are no facilities according to their disability. So this is the physical barrier. See, what happens is that establishing neighborhood schools, providing transport facilities, okay, modification of the building structure and classroom setting with regard to the environmental barriers, including doors, passageways, stairs, ramps and recreational areas can be helpful to suit the see what happens is that you might have come across how the schools are attracting the students. Normal schools na chinna pillалని attract cheyadaniki manam em chestunnamo, smart classes ani, then learning with activities, this, that and all these things. Why the schools are doing all such things? In order to attract the attention of the parents and also in order to attract the students. So in order to, ante akkada entante the student should be feel comfortable, the student should feel happy to coming to the school. Gone are the days when the child used to cry throughout 1 year to go to school. సంవత్సరం అంతా ఏడ్చేవాళ్ళు, నర్సరీ, ఎల్కేజీ. బట్ నౌ యూ సీ in the beginning only for 1 week or max 15 days they cry. But the activities, the involvement of the teachers and the students, that coloring, blocks, this, that, active, then the playing and all those things. But previously when we studied, they used to make us to sit in one place right from morning to afternoon. Okay, ఒక చైర్, పర్మనెంట్ గా చైర్ ఉండేది, ఆ చైర్ లోనే మనం కూర్చొని ఏడ్చి sometimes we used to sleep. Okay, This is what generally I have seen most of the students. But now you don't see. Hardly for 10-15 days the child cries, but after that he gets used. The teacher interacts in such a way that the child and the activities and the facilities that have been provided in the school helps a lot to child get involved in the activities. So in the same manner, how facilities are being given to the children, for normal children, in case if we plan in such a way where the physical disabled children should feel comfortable by giving them all the facilities like the doors, ramps, classroom arrangement. There should be a change in the structure of the building according to the convenience of the students. Okay, and washrooms, wheelchairs, crutches. Okay, వాళ్ళకి ఏవేవి కావాలి అవన్నీ ఫెసిలిటీస్ మనం in case if we and major transport facilities, because that is the biggest hurdle for most of the children. If we give all these facilities, then definitely what happens, the physical barrier will not be there. So this is what actually the physical barrier. I think did you follow this physical barrier? Anyone say yes or no?
Yes ma'am.
Yes ma'am.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు మనకు వాళ్ళకి ఏది కావాలి అది దృష్టి ఏవేవి వాళ్ళకి అంటే జనరల్లీ ఫిజికల్ వాళ్ళకి డిసెబిలిటీ దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకొని looking into their disabilities, and if we provide, most of the schools they are not providing. That is a major. For that purpose, what is the thing we are discussing? We are discussing previously I have discussed the attitudinal barrier. Now I am discussing the physical barrier. I said just dumping those disabled children along with the normal children will not be a successful inclusive education. We have to look into the barriers, and the first one was the attitudinal barrier. The second one is the physical barrier. So looking into the disabilities of the child, if we provide all the facilities that will take away that will be convenient for the disabled children to come to the school, like transport facilities, then washrooms, ramps, stairs, and the doors, windows, okay, restructure of the building. Then if we provide all these facilities, then the physical barrier will not be there, and it will be one of the reasons for a successful inclusive education. Okay, now the third one is the instructional barrier. Instruction is nothing but the attitude of the teacher. Instruction, the way generally what happens, the teacher plays a very vital role. Okay, the major hurdle to inclusive education is the instructional barrier, and in consists of children with, see what happens in my class only. Forget about the disabled. Now this is the class. I have a class with almost all, today I am having some 26 students. Every child is unique. Every child is have this diverse learning styles. And they are the diverse learning styles, diverse abilities, and everyone is unique. Do you understand? Do you accept this?
Yes ma'am.
Every child is unique. In a classroom, let me tell you, in a normal classroom, under the mainstream classroom, children with diverse is nothing but different abilities and different learning styles, and everyone is unique. అవునా కదా?
Yes ma'am, everyone is unique ma'am. Their learning styles and the way they take the subject from teacher, even that differs ma'am.
Yeah, see, for that purpose the teacher has to look into the different learning styles of the students, different abilities, looking into the different abilities of the child. The teacher has to teach. Okay, the teacher has to teach, making use of the different strategies and the techniques. So this is about the normal classroom now I am discussing. But let me tell you, when we take an inclusive classroom, there, apart from the normal classroom, apart from the normal children, even the children with the special needs or children with disabled children will be there. And definitely you could see that the instructional barrier can easily be found in a classroom where both children will be there, the normal children as well as the disabled children will be there, because every child is unique. Every child has got different learning style. Every child has got the different abilities. The teacher has to look into the different abilities, different learning styles, and she has to plan her strategy. And definitely what happens is that this would be generally, when it comes to the inclusive class, it would be an instructional barrier, would be a major hurdle. Instructional అనేది ఒక పెద్ద hurdle అవుతుంది. ఎందుకంటే first and foremost, normal children, when it comes to the normal children itself only, the children will be there. Every child is unique with different abilities. And just think about the disabled children. Every child is not only unique, they have different capacities, they have different abilities. So what happens is that there in such inclusive classroom, instruction becomes a major barrier. Okay. See what happens, it is the teacher, it is in the hands of the teacher to plan her strategies. Let me tell you, if the teacher is not update, if the teacher is not innovative, if the teacher is not creative, okay, if the teacher doesn't meet the needs of the present situation, then she is not a good teacher. She is not the present time teacher. The teacher has to keep on changing. What do you mean? Now this is, I said, I think already when I have discussed the quality of a teacher previously. So the teacher has to keep on changing according to the needs, according to the situation. She should not stick to the same methods what she has taught previously for the past 10 years. Generally, now most of the teachers, they have a feeling that what I taught, what I was taught, I am going to teach in the same manner. Now such teachers will not at all work in present scenario. Teachers, they tend to move forward. They have to keep on changing according to the needs of the students. When I am talking about the normal children itself only, the teacher has to be very innovative, very creative. She has to sometimes plan out of the book. She has to sometimes think out of the box. So such teachers will definitely be successful in their profession, and also will have good impact in the classroom. Okay. But if teachers now here, this is what I am telling you. Now what I said, now in the present scenario, instructional barrier has become very big hurdle. Instructional barrier has become a very instructional barrier. Now, previously we used to have teachers. Nitish has left. Where is Nitish?
He is there in the class, ma'am. He is visible in the meeting.
He is not to be seen here.
He's there, ma'am.
Okay, fine. No problem. Might be the screen is small. Okay. See, I was talking about this, instructional barrier. In the classroom itself, see, previously, now let me tell you, the way I was taught, the way you were taught, and the way your children are being taught is quite different. You could see the generation gap. Now, see what happens. Now, the teachers at present, the present teachers are quite innovative, quite creative, okay. They are quite they would like to take risk. They would like to do something which is not there in the textbook. So such attitude definitely will help the teachers to move forward, because what happens, they tend to take risk in such a way that to meet the needs of the students. So such teachers definitely will be helpful for a successful inclusive education. When I am talking about the instructional barrier, in case if the teacher, if she is very rigid, if she doesn't want to move forward, if she is teaching her own traditional approaches like the previously there was no interaction, there was only passive learning. Okay, the teachers as soon as the teacher is to enter the class, the students have to keep mum. There was no scope for the interaction between the teachers and the students. Okay, whole class lecture method. Whole class lecture method is nothing but only the teacher has to give the lecture. Okay, with a fixed timetable. There was not a single textbook. Okay, a rigid age grouping, focusing on marks. Much importance was given for for marks and the grades. Okay, and ignoring the abilities and the inabilities of the child. Okay, they give individual attention. Absolutely, individual attention was not at all given. Okay, in conducive learning, there was no proper atmosphere for the students to have this learning atmosphere was not there. Okay, there was no rapport between the teachers and the students. passive methods of learning, passive methods of teaching, lack of appropriate teaching learning material. We never used to have the teaching learning material in those days. Okay, non-participation of the students in the classroom activities and lack of motivation, encouragement, support and cooperation of the teacher during classroom interaction can become an instructional barrier for inclusive education. Apart from this, there are other aspects. Okay, see, instruction. Now, I think, did you understand the attitudinal and the, what was the other one I said? Attitudinal and the physical barrier. Instructional barrier is nothing but in case if the teacher is of the traditional method. Traditional method ante enti ati whole class lecture method, single textbook, fixed timetable, fixed teaching methods. Okay, no scope for the interaction, only the teacher has to speak. Passive learning, no interaction, no proper encouragement, no scope for what is that only importance given to the grades and marks. Okay, no scope for knowing the abilities and the disabilities of the child. So if such attitude of the teacher is there, then definitely it will be the major cause for unsuccessful inclusive education. Now, what all I am telling you, these are the reasons why inclusive education is not successful, because of the instructional barrier. Instructional barrier ante enti, teacher if she follows the same old method, traditional method like whole class lecture method, passive learning. Okay, passive learning of the students, no interaction between the teacher and the students, no interaction among the students. Okay, single textbook, fixed timetable, no scope for the what is that appreciation. There was no then even what is that no activities. Okay, no teaching materials, no different techniques. Okay, then what is that what else? Okay, the importance was given to the marks and the grades. If such things are there if such things are present in the classroom, let me tell you, these are considered as the instructional barriers for inclusive education. If the teacher will not follow all these things, if she is quite innovative, if she is quite creative, if she doesn't stick to her traditional method of teaching, if she makes use of the different approaches, if she makes use of innovative methods, if she makes use of if she upgrades herself with the latest techniques and the methods, then the instructional will not be a barrier for inclusive education. అర్థమైందా లేదా?
Yes, ma'am.
Please, if you have not understood, just the చాలా important from the examination point of view. What are the barriers of the inclusive education? అంటే attitudinal barrier, physical barrier and the instructional barrier. Instructional barrier లో ఇప్పుడు నేను చెప్పినవన్నీ పాతకాలం మెథడ్స్. టీచర్ స్కోప్స్ ఇచ్చేవాళ్ళు కాదు, పిల్లలు మాత్రం స్కోప్ ఇచ్చేవాళ్ళు కాదు, పాసివ్ లెర్నింగ్, ఇంటరాక్షన్ కి లేదు, no no teaching material, no new methods. The teacher never used to be innovative, she never used to go for the new approaches. Okay, only importance was given to marks and the grades, single timetable. Okay, fixed timetable, no checking of the students' abilities and the inabilities. So in case if the teacher follows the same if she follows the same method, then definitely these are the factors for unsuccessful inclusive education, and this is the instructional barrier. నేను ఇవన్నీ చెప్పినది టీచర్ ఫాలో అయిందంటే these are considered to be the instructional barriers. But if the teacher does not follow all these things, if she upgrades herself, if she teaches according to the needs of the students, okay, then instructional barrier will not be there in inclusive education. Have you followed?
Yes, ma'am. What is rigid age group in them?
రిజిడ్ అంటే పాతది. ఇప్పుడు చూడమ్మా, ఇప్పుడు నేను చదివినప్పుడు హౌ దే యూస్ టు మేక్ అస్ లెర్న్ వన్ ఆర్ ఆల్ఫాబెటికల్స్, దే యూస్ టు హోల్డ్ అవర్ హ్యాండ్. సో దే యూస్ టు అంటే దే యూస్ టు హోల్డ్ అవర్ హ్యాండ్, దే యూస్ టు కీప్ ఆన్ ట్రేసింగ్ ద లెటర్స్ A, B, C. Okay. Now, even now, in case if I have, instead of taking your class, if I happen to take some other class, like nursery, LKG, where I am supposed to teach the alphabets. So, if I follow the same method which has been taught to me, or which I know, okay. So, if I don't go with all this, what is that, slanting line, sleeping line, telling them to learn the curves and all. Instead of that, if I hold the child's hand and if I make the same method to use, if I use the same method in the classroom by holding the hand of the child and asking him to trace the particular letter A, then this is called as a rigid method where I don't change what have been taught to me, what I was taught, how I was taught by my teacher, and how I taught in the previous years. If I follow the same thing, that is called as a rigid method. The teacher shouldn't be rigid. The teacher has to change. ఇప్పుడు మీరు అలా ఎవరైనా మీకు అలా నేర్పిస్తున్నారా? ఏ స్కూల్లో ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఇంతమంది ఉన్నారు, యూ మే బి హ్యావింగ్ స్మాల్ కిడ్స్. Now please tell me, are your kids learning in the same method how you people were taught during your childhood?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
ఇప్పుడు నేను ముందు మీరు స్టార్టింగ్ మీకు ఎక్స్పోజర్ ఉండాలని, ఇన్ కేస్ ఇఫ్ దే గివ్ యూ ఎల్కేజీ, now will you follow the same method the way you were taught? No, not follow. You tell them what is the slanting line, what is the sleeping line, what is the standing line, what are the left curve, right curve, zigzag, this, that అన్ని మనం అలా స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాం. అంటే మీరేంటి, మీకు ఎలా చెప్పారో అలా మీరు చిన్నప్పుడు మీకు ఎలా చెప్పారో, ఓకే, మీరు నేర్చుకున్నప్పుడు ఎలా నేర్చుకున్నారో అలా మీరు చెప్పకుండా ఇప్పుడు ఎలా చెప్పాలో పిల్లలకు ఎలా చెప్తే అర్థం అవుతుందో, if you follow that, then you are not considered to be rigid. You are flexible. You are very feasible. You change. The teachers have to be very flexible. They have to keep on changing according to the needs. Such teacher will definitely shine in her life. నేను ఇలాగే చెప్పాను, నేను ఇలాగే చేశాను అనేది మీకు ఎలా చెప్పారు అని ఇప్పుడు ట్రెండ్ అలా కాదు. పిల్లలకి ఎలా చెప్తే బాగుంటుంది, పిల్లలు ఎలా నేర్చుకుంటారు, పిల్లలకి ఎలా చెప్తే బాగుంటుంది, హౌ ఇన్ కేస్ ద స్టూడెంట్స్ గెట్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్, హౌ టు ప్రొవోక్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ అమాంగ్ ద స్టూడెంట్స్. సో సచ్ మెథడ్స్ ఇఫ్ యూ యూస్, దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ what is it, changing according to the needs of the students. So such teachers are not called rigid. Rigid ante mondi. This is what you were asking, na Sangamitra?
Yes, ma'am. But it is written rigid age grouping like that, ma'am. So that's why we follow.
Okay.
Ma'am, rigid and fixed అనొచ్చా ma'am?
Fixed. అంటే ఫిక్స్డ్ అని కాదు, కానీ అలాగే చాలా మొండి అంటాం కదా, మనదే సాధిస్తాము, మనదే ఇది మనం, వెన్ వి కీప్ ఆన్ టెల్లింగ్ ఓన్లీ వి సే దట్ వీఆర్ కరెక్ట్, వి ఫాలో ద సేమ్ థింగ్, అలా అన్నప్పుడు దాన్ని అంటే ఏంటి, రిజిడ్ అంటే ఏంటి, నేను అన్నదే కరెక్ట్, నేను చేసిందే కరెక్ట్, నేను చెప్పింది నేను ఇలాగే చెప్తాను, నేను మార్చుకోను, అలా అది ఫ్లెక్సిబుల్ కాదు. ఎవరు వాళ్ళు ఏంటంటే వాళ్ళు కాంప్రమైజ్ అవ్వరు. దే డోంట్ వాంట్ టు చేంజ్, దే డోంట్ వాంట్ టు లెర్న్, దే డోంట్ వాంట్ టు అప్గ్రేడ్. యూ might have come across in most of the government schools when we happen to go for inspection, they don't actually, there are many changes in the period plans. But few things, even the training has been given to the teachers to upgrade themselves for the latest period plans. But few teachers, they don't accept the period plans which are done by our students because they are quite rigid. మాకు ఇలా చెప్పలేదు, మాకు ఇలా చేయాలి, మేము ఇలా, ఇది కరెక్ట్ కాదు అంటే ఏంటి, వాళ్ళు కొత్తది ఏముందో అది ఏంటి అనేది తెలుసుకున్న తర్వాత వాళ్ళు ఇది కరెక్టా రాంగా అని చెప్పాలి. కానీ వాళ్ళు ఇప్పుడు యూనివర్సిటీ ఒక ఫార్మాట్ ఇచ్చింది, దాని ప్రకారంగా పీరియడ్ ప్లాన్స్ చెప్పిన తర్వాత దోస్ టీచర్స్ who don't have exposure regarding this period plan, they don't accept. So such teachers who don't upgrade themselves are called as rigid in their nature. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Now, this is very important from the examination point of view. What are the barriers to inclusive education? Ante attitudinal, instructional and physical barrier. Okay. Then the next one is, apart from that, we have many curriculum. Okay, first one is again, apart from these three, we have curriculum, we have teachers, we have language and communication, we have socio-economic conditions, we have funding, we have the organization of the education system, then we have policies and programs, then we have inadequate knowledge. Okay, so upon the barriers to inclusive education law, apart from the attitudinal, okay, instructional and the physical, even there are few more barriers. Okay, apart from those, there are other aspects which also become hurdles to inclusion. See, what are the words for the barriers? Hurdles, obstacles, hindrances. Okay, curriculum. See, curriculum ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే, curriculum plays a major role. Okay, major obstacles are tools to facilitate the development of more inclusive system. So curriculum, it has to meet the needs of the normal children as well as it has to meet the needs of the disabled children. Curriculum is often unable to meet the needs of the wide range of different learners. In many contexts, the curriculum is centrally designed and rigid, leaving little flexibility for local adaptations for teachers in experimenting in a trial. The content might be distant to the reality in which the students live and therefore inaccessible and see, what happens is that curriculum ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే, few things, the curriculum, see, it's not that easy to frame a curriculum. While the curriculum framers, while they are framing the curriculum, it is a very big task. It's a challenging task. They have to look into the needs of the students, needs of the society, present and the needs, how the present students should be. So looking into the needs of the society, looking into the needs of the students, a curriculum is framed depending upon the IQ of the students. So what happens, even one of the obstacle I am saying is that curriculum. The curriculum is one of the hurdles. అంటే ఏంటి, curriculum ఎలా hurdle అవుతుంది? Sometimes curriculum is so rigid that it is not that flexible. అంటే ఏంటి, ఎంత rigid ఉందంటే, the curriculum, whatever the curriculum is framed, it is not comfortable for the teachers as well as students for inclusive education. And the curriculum is designed in such a way that it is very rigid. Rigid, the curriculum framers, while they are framing the curriculum, they have not looked into the needs of the students as well as the requirements of the teachers. Okay, requirement of the teachers, they have framed according to their mindset. అంటే ఇది ఇలా ఉండాలి, ఇది ఇలాగే ఉండాలి అని ఆ కరికులం ఫ్రేమర్స్ అంటే they were very rigid. అండ్ నేను ఇక్కడ చెప్పడం ఏంటంటే, కరికులం ఎలా హర్డల్ అవుతుందంటే, కరికులం ఫ్రేమర్స్ while they are framing the curriculum, they have to see whether it is according to the needs of the students, whether whatever the topics, whatever the methods and whatever the techniques are being prescribed in the textbook, are they suitable for the teachers? Local adaptability అంటే ఏంటి, టీచర్స్ కి చెప్పే విధంగా ఉన్నాయి. అంటే టీచర్స్ ఈ మెథడ్ ని వాళ్ళు అప్రోచ్ అవ్వచ్చా లేదా, ఇవి టాపిక్స్ పిల్లలకి చెప్పొచ్చా లేదా, అంటే the topics which have been chosen by the curriculum framers is very difficult for the teachers to teach such topics to the students, and that is a hurdle for the inclusive education. See, I am telling you, curriculum ఎలా ఉందంటే, curriculum framers వాళ్ళు curriculum frame చేసేటప్పుడు they have to look into the needs of every child. And what happens, they are very rigid. ఇలా ఉండాలి అని వాళ్ళు ఏంటంటే, since they have become very rigid, it is becoming for the teachers to teach certain topics, especially for the disabled children. And even they don't even have the scope to give any try for a different technique or approach to teach such topics. So this has become a hurdle when for inclusive education. Did you get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు నార్మల్ చిల్డ్రన్ లోనే ఇప్పుడు ఒక మనకు మ్యాథ్స్ లో ఉంటుంది, కొంతమందికి ట్రిగ్నోమెట్రీ కష్టం, కొంతమందికి ఏంటంటే జామెట్రీ కష్టం. ఓకే, జనరల్ అవి మన అంటే మనం కష్టం అంటే ఇప్పుడు అక్కడ మనకి దట్ ఈస్ అన్అవాయిడబుల్. కానీ ఏమవుతుందంటే ఇక్కడ ఇంక్లూజివ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ లో ఇచ్చేసేటప్పుడు వెన్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్, ఇప్పుడు ఇంక్లూజివ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అన్నప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే కొన్ని టాపిక్స్ ఎలా ఉంటాయంటే వాళ్ళు మెథడ్స్ టెక్నిక్స్ ఎలా కరికులం ఫ్రేమర్స్ ఎలా ఫ్రేమ్ చేస్తున్నారంటే అది టీచర్స్ కి స్టూడెంట్స్ కి అడాప్ట్ అవ్వడానికి చాలా కష్టం అవుతుంది. సో దానివల్ల టీచర్స్ ఏదైనా కొత్త విధంగా చెప్పాలి, ఇప్పుడు నేను ఏదైనా టాపిక్ చెప్పాలి, ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా ఒక డిఫరెంట్ టెక్నిక్ యూజ్ చేయాలి, మెథడ్ యూజ్ చేయాలి అంటే ఆ మెథడ్ యూజ్ చేయడానికి ఆ టాపిక్ అలా ఉండాలి. You get my point? See, all the techniques, all the methods I cannot use for one particular topic. Based on the topic I am going to make use of. See, let me tell you, based on the topic will I choose the method or a technique, or depending upon the method and the technique I choose the topic.
According to the topic, choose the method, ma'am.
Yeah. According to the topic, I am going to make use of the different techniques, methods and the approaches. See, so curriculum అనేది ఎలా హర్డల్ అవుతుందంటే curriculum framers have framed the curriculum in such a way that in a rigid way that the teachers it has become very difficult for the students and the teachers to adapt such curriculum, and also it is difficult for the teachers to make use of any different techniques or the methods, because the topics which have been given in the curriculum, they don't even get a scope to try different methods. So that is the hurdle in the curriculum. పిల్లలకి సూట్ అయ్యేలాగా ఉండాలి, and it should be easily adaptable అంటే ఏంటి, స్టూడెంట్స్ కూడా కన్వీనియంట్ ఉండాలి, టీచర్స్ కూడా కన్వీనియంట్ ఉండాలి. టీచర్స్ కి ఎలా కన్వీనియంట్ ఉండాలి, అంటే ఏంటి, the teacher, that particular topic, making use of the particular topic, if a particular topic is there, the teacher can use the different method or the approach to teach the same topic according to the needs of the students. అలాంటి స్కోప్ కూడా కరికులం ఇవ్వటం లేదు. Okay, so that is the hurdle when it comes to the curriculum. Okay. Now the second one, I said the teachers. Especially, let me tell you, all teachers cannot be a part of the inclusive education. Teachers who have not taken training, teachers who doesn't have a positive attitude towards the teachers, if they are not well versed with the techniques and the methods that are used for the disabled children, then the teachers will be a hurdle will be a barrier in inclusive education. Do you accept this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
First and foremost, the teacher should have lots of patience. The teacher should have positive attitude. The teacher should have a good grip over her subject. And apart from that, she should have a complete idea regarding the abilities and the disabilities of the disabled children. And apart from that, the teachers should have even know the different techniques and the methods that can be used in the classroom instruction to teach the disabled children. So if all these things are not present in a teacher's if they are not found in teacher, then the teacher herself will be a hurdle for successful inclusive education. First one ఏంటి, she should be very positive in her perception. She should have a positive attitude towards the disabled children. Okay, she should have lots of patience, empathy. There should be no discrimination. Okay, then she should be well versed. She should have good training regarding the abilities and the disabilities of the disabled children. Okay, then and also she should be well versed with the different techniques and the methods used to teach the disabled children. If all these things are not found in a teacher, then the teacher herself will become a hurdle for a successful inclusive education. Arthamayinda?
Yes, ma'am.
How about others? They are not responding today.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. లాంగ్వేజ్ అండ్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ అనేది పెద్ద ప్రాబ్లం. ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇదే చెప్పింది నేను చాలా మంది హిందీలో చెప్పాను అనుకోండి, ఎంతమందికి అర్థమవుతుంది? Okay, so what happens is that, see, for successful teaching and learning, language is a must. Okay, without language, teaching and learning cannot takes place. So teaching and learning takes place generally what has place through a language which is not first language for some of the learners. ఇప్పుడు మీరు చాలా మంది ఏంటంటే తెలుగు would be the most convenient for you since it happens to be your first language, the regional language and the mother tongue. So what happens, the places these learners as a disadvantage as it often leads to significant linguistic difficulties which contribute to learning breakdown. Second language learners are particularly subject to low expectations and discouragement. So generally what happens in case if students are not well versed with the language, then teaching learning will also be language and communication. If I was supposed to teach you only in Telugu, if I'm not that good, okay. So what happens here from the students' point of view, the students may not understand my teaching, and in case if the students are not aware of the language what the teacher is teaching. ఇప్పుడు చాలా మందికి నేను కాదు, ఇప్పుడు సార్ ఇంగ్లీష్ లో మాట్లాడతారు, స్వాతి మ్యామ్, దెన్ స్వాతి, దెన్ శ్రవంతి. ఇప్పుడు మీకు కంప్లీట్లీ ఇంగ్లీష్ రాని వాళ్ళకి ఏమవుతుందంటే లాంగ్వేజ్ కూడా ఒక పెద్ద ఇట్ విల్ బి అన్ ఆబ్స్టికల్. సార్ నో
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So ఏంటంటే లాంగ్వేజ్ అండ్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ if there is no communication and if the language that is used for teaching and learning, if it is not understood by the students, okay, so especially the second language learners, so వాళ్ళకి ఏమవుతుందంటే that would be an obstacle for inclusive education. So even the language and communication అనేది, if the language used by the teacher, okay, if it is not according to the needs of the students, then even language will be an hurdle for inclusive education. Okay, did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
మీరు ఇప్పుడు ఇంగ్లీష్ మూవీ చూసారనుకోండి, how many of you watch English movies?
Myself.
Sirisha.
Sometimes.
Me too, ma'am.
But are you able to follow the way you people watch Hindi or Telugu?
Ma'am,
It takes seconds of time at least.
ఏంటి
And 6 subtitles the class అర్థం చేసుకోవచ్చు, కానీ if without subtitles it takes seconds of time to understand.
Yeah. అండ్ సమ్టైమ్స్ త్రూ లిప్ మూమెంట్, సమ్టైమ్స్ అంటే అది మనకు ఏమవుతుందంటే కొంచెం అది ఎంతైనా మనకు కంప్లీట్ గా వి డోంట్ బి ఏబుల్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్. సి ఫ్యూ థింగ్స్ వి రియలైజ్, ఓహో ఇదా, దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్ యాక్చువల్లీ, అంటే ఎట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద డే యూ కెన్ కమ్ టు నో వాట్ వాజ్ ద జిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద మూవీ, బట్ ఇమీడియట్ మీకు అక్కడ ఏంటి కాంప్రహెన్షన్ అనేది ఉండదు. ఇప్పుడు అదే తెలుగు మూవీలో మీరు ఏంటంటే అప్పటిది అర్థం చేసుకుంటారు, ముందు ఏమవుతుందని చెప్పగలరు, ముందు ఎండ్ ఏముందని చెప్పగలరు. దిస్ ఈజ్ వాట్, బికాస్ దట్ ఈస్ యువర్ మదర్ టంగ్, రీజనల్ లాంగ్వేజ్, ఫస్ట్ లాంగ్వేజ్ అన్ని వస్తుంది. బట్ when it comes to the different language, what happens, understanding at that moment would be a big task for you people. So generally students are coming from different background, it would be difficult. So language and communication is a hurdle. Socio-economic conditions. Inadequacies and inequalities in the education system is the most evident in areas which have sustained poverty and high levels of, you would have come across, socio-economic conditions because of the poverty and because of the inequalities, inadequacies, okay, which have high levels of unemployment, the impact of violence and HIV AIDS can also have the adverse effects. So most of the inclusive education lo entante, in case if the child comes from the what is that, the below poverty line family nunchi vacharankondi, okay, generally, so inadequacies and inequalities in the education system is most evident in areas which have sustained poverty and high levels of unemployment. You might have come across, there are certain regions, there are certain places in our state, and you could come across that there most of the people are under poverty, most of the people have high level of unemployment. So there what happens, again it will be there people, in case if any disabled children are there, they don't even dare to make their child to enter the school premises. So socio-economic conditions kuda one of the barriers for inclusive education. Did you follow this? What happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, others are okay. Funding. A major constraint is serious shortage of resources, lack of schools or inadequate time. I said inclusive educations run cheyadaniki you should have lots and lots of facilities because the structure of the building itself should be changed when it is when it is considered to be an inclusive education. Okay, one second. Sticker, you 4 o'clock. See, funding and resources. Okay, and let me tell you, for an unsuccessful inclusive education, funding is also one of the reasons why there is a loss. Why funding is considered to be one of the factors for unsuccessful education, because lack of schools, inadequate facilities, lack of teachers, shortage of qualified staff, lack of learning materials, and absence of support. Okay, the inadequacy of resources available to meet the basic needs in education. Okay, then apart from that, require additional financial support by countries and donors. See, funding and running a normal school. Nowadays, a small building is that they can run a school. Okay, it's a normal school, but running an inclusive school is not that easy. Lack of trained staff, lack of funds, lack of resources, lack of teaching materials, okay, lack of facilities, okay, absence of the support. All these leads to unsuccessful inclusive education. Followed?
Yes, ma'am.
So today what all we have discussed? Just get me the review.
Barriers, ma'am,
Barriers, physical barriers,
physical
attitudinal barriers.
First one attitudinal. Attitude and perception of the teacher. Attitude of the parents, teachers. Okay. Then next one we discussed about the physical barrier. Okay, ramp, rope, all those things. The third one is the instructional. The teacher should not be rigid. The teacher should not use the traditional method. Apart from these major three, we have discussed about the curriculum. The curriculum should be according to the needs of the students and the teachers. The curriculum frameworks should not be rigid. So it should be easy for the teachers and the students to adapt the curriculum in an easy way so that they get the required. So again, it is a hurdle. Consider the teachers, they should have they should be well versed. They should have an idea regarding the abilities and disabilities of the child. They should know all the latest techniques. Okay, she should be very positive. She should she should be quite creative and innovative. Okay, టీచర్స్ ఎప్పుడు ఇన్నోవేటివ్ ఉండాలి. పాతగా అదే 1947 టీచర్స్, 1947 అంటే అప్పుడు పుట్టింది కాదు, అప్పుడు పెరిగింది కాదు. 1947 అంటే జనరల్లీ టీచర్స్ కుడ్ నెవర్ ట్రై ఈవెన్ టు చేంజ్ దెమ్సెల్వ్స్. సో సచ్ టీచర్స్ ఆర్ నాట్ అట్ ఆల్ ఫిట్ ఫర్ ద ప్రెజెంట్ సినారో. The teachers, they have to change according to the needs. ట్రెండ్ ఇప్పుడు ఎలా ఉన్నారో, ఇప్పుడు ఎలా ఉంటే బాగుంటుందో, పిల్లలకి ఎలా అర్థమవుతుంది అనేది తెలుసుకుని టీచర్స్ వాళ్ళు చదివింది వదిలేసండి, వాళ్ళు చెప్పింది, వాళ్ళు నేర్చుకున్నది వాళ్ళకి ఎలా చెప్పారో దే షుడ్ లీవ్ ఇట్ బిహైండ్ అండ్ దే షుడ్ లెర్న్ టు మేక్ ద స్టూడెంట్స్ లెర్న్. They should learn new things, they should learn new strategies so that they can make the teaching learning process a successful one. Why this 2 years B.Ed has come into force? Why 9 months course they said that it is not sufficient because practical knowledge undalani ee drama and art, reflective, action research, life skills, all this. Ante enti a teacher, when she comes out of her training, she should have the overall development. Not only she should know how to teach the subject, but also she should know how to deal the students. So this is what is program. So alage ఇక్కడ ఇంక్లూసివ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ లో హర్డల్ ఏమవుతుంది, కరికులం అవుతుంది, టీచర్స్ అవుతుంది, లాంగ్వేజ్. ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ ద లాంగ్వేజ్ కన్వీనియంట్ లేకపోతే అది కూడా ఎస్పెషల్లీ సెకండ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ వాళ్ళకు అది కూడా ఇన్కన్వీనియంట్ అవుతుంది. In case if the students come from the background, in case if there is if they come from completely below poverty, okay, అన్ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ ఏరియా నుంచి వచ్చారనుకోండి, అది కూడా వన్ ఆఫ్ ద హర్డల్స్. దే డోంట్ ఈవెన్ డేర్ టు మేక్ దేర్ చిల్డ్రన్ జాయిన్ ద స్కూల్స్, అండ్ దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో వన్ ఆఫ్ ద రీజన్స్ ఫర్ ద inclusive education. Okay, then funding. If there are lack of facilities, lack of what is that teachers, okay, shortage of qualified staff, lack of learning materials, and then if there are lack of schools, so all these, even such ఫండింగ్ లేకపోతే స్కూల్స్ ఉండవు, టీచర్స్ ఉండరు, స్టాఫ్ ఉండదు, ట్రైన్ స్టాఫ్ ఉండదు, సో ఫెసిలిటీస్ ఉండవు. సో దీని వల్ల ఏమవుతుంది, అగైన్ ఇట్ విల్ బి హర్డల్ ఫర్ ద ఇంక్లూజివ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్. ఇది గెట్ మై పాయింట్. ఇప్పుడు నేను మాట్లాడేదంతా ఇంక్లూజివ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ నార్మల్ స్టూడెంట్స్ గురించి కాదు. కరికులం కూడా వాళ్ళ విధంగానే ఉండాలి. ఆ కరికులం సరిగ్గా లేకపోతే ఇంక్లూజివ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ టీచర్స్ చెప్పలేకపోతారు. సో అగైన్ కరికులం అనేది ఒకటి పెద్ద హర్డల్ అయిపోతుంది. టీచర్స్ పాజిటివ్ యాటిట్యూడ్ లేకపోతే, టీచర్స్ క్వాలిఫైడ్ లేకపోతే, teachers, if they are not well versed with the what is that abilities and disabilities of the students, disabled students, then again the teachers will be a hurdle or a barrier for inclusive education. Okay, then language, in case of the language that for teaching learning avvadaniki, to have teaching learning process icheyadaniki oka language, in case if the language is not convenient, again it will be a hurdle. Then in case of the students, if they are not, if the what is one of the factors for the what is that unsuccessful inclusive education is, if the child comes from the what is that unemployment this one, or completely below poverty area, what happens, even there the students, the parents will not send their children. So that is also one of the reasons for the unsuccessful what is education. Inadequacies and inequalities in the education system is most evident in areas which are sustained poverty. అక్కడ ఏంటంటే ఫెసిలిటీస్ ఉండవు, దెన్ వాళ్ళకు పవర్టీ చాలా, ఇఫ్ దే ఆర్ వెరీ బిలో పవర్టీ లైన్ అండ్ హై లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ అన్ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే అక్కడ వాళ్ళకు ఎక్కువగా ఫెసిలిటీస్ ఉండవు, ఎక్కువ ఫీజిబిలిటీ ఉండదు. సో దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో వన్ ఆఫ్ ద రీజన్స్ ఫర్ వాట్ ఇస్ దట్ unsuccessful inclusive education. And the last one what we have discussed is funding. If funding is nothing, that to run an inclusive school is not that easy. If there are no proper resources, if there are no, because of that, if funding is not there, then that leads to shortage of resources. Okay, lack of schools, lack of facilities, lack of teachers, shortage of qualified staff, lack of learning material, and the absence of support. So funding is also, అంటే ఇప్పుడు డబ్బులు లేకపోతే అది కూడా ఒక హర్డల్, ఇంక్లూజివ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఒక హర్డల్. Did you follow this? Till here did you follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
See, next ఏంటంటే you have what is that organization of the education system, policies, programs. దీనికి ఏంటంటే what is the difference between the impairment, disability and handicap? This I'll tell you tomorrow. Okay, because I don't want to take too much time. ఎక్కువ చెప్పానంటే మీకు బుర్రకు ఎక్కదు. So did you understand what are the barriers today?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Lakshmi, some of the student has to not Lakshmi కాదు, లక్ష్మి వాళ్ళ పాప చెప్పినట్టుంది. Who is this Lakshmi? Vina? Okay, fine. Sandhya, did you understand Sandhya?
Ma'am.
Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
మేజర్ ఎన్ని బ్యాచెస్ సంధ్య మనకు ఉండేది? ఎన్ని మనకు మేజర్?
3, ma'am.
ఏవేవి?
Attitudinal, physical, instructional, ma'am.
తర్వాత మిగతా ఏం చెప్పాను నేను? భాగ్యశ్రీ, yeah, Bhagya, tell me the remaining we have discussed, remaining what we have discussed just now. Apart from this physical, instructional and attitudinal barriers, even there are some more barriers. In that, what did we discuss? In that, what did we discuss, Bhagya?
Physical health, physical barrier. Hello, ma'am.
Tell me.
Barrier. Teacher should be have a positive attitude.
Again, let me tell you. You were not there, I think, I suppose. Were you there?
I'm not missing.
Ritvik has joined just now. Who is Ritvik?
Ma'am, this is Usha, ma'am.
Usha. Often I get confused, Usha. Okay, fine. How come, Usha? Almost all, I'm winding up the session. How come now?
Ma'am, I was trying to join. I don't know. So there is a problem with my phone. I am unable to join through my phone. So I had to wait for the laptop and then I am joining.
Okay, no problem, no problem. See, now here the barrier is your phone.
Yes, ma'am.
Class instruction.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Subhashini, you tell me. Apart from instructional,
their teacher should have a
Curriculum, teachers, language, socio-economic
language and communication
conditions,
should be there.
and also funding.
okay, fine.
Social economic
Yeah,
conditions should be there, and we have a good infrastructure. Funding will be there, and
Below
different
poverty
policies and programs should be implemented to improve the educational system in inclusive education.
Overall, you are giving Bhagya. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
No problem.
మీరు తొందరగా అడిగితే తొందరగా చెప్పలేను మేడం.
నాకేంటంటే నాకు టైం పట్టిందంటే
I will never miss your class, ma'am. I am
No.
much interested with your class, ma'am.
Okay, fine, Bhagya. Let me tell you, as we close the session now, I'll come to know how many students were present right from 3 to 4:15.
The problem is your communication and language, which makes me feel more energies, ma'am. Which will give me more energy, so I will never miss your class, ma'am.
That's what it's normal, as everyone does. Okay, anyways, see, I have discussed only
Okay, ma'am.
attitudinal, physical, and
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
And apart from that, we have discussed regarding the curriculum, how curriculum becomes a barrier, then how teachers become a barrier, then how the third one, what did we discuss? What was the third one? Language. Socio-economic, and the last one was funding. If there is no proper funding for the inclusive education, there will be shortage of the resources, lack of facilities, lack of teachers, lack of learning materials, and that would be a hurdle. Ivanni hurdles, nenu anta maatladinది ఏంటి? Hurdles, hindrances, obstacles, barriers. Ivanni ante same. So even this is very important from the examination point of view. ఈ రోజుకి ఇంతే చాలు. నేను ఎక్కువ చెప్పానంటే ఏమవుతుందంటే మీకు యూ పీపుల్ గెట్, ఇప్పుడు ఈ రోజు చెప్పింది మీకు 45 minutes, how much, okay, whatever it may be, whether it is 45 minutes or 1 hour, whatever it may be, 45 minutes చెప్పింది దాంట్లో మీకు ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ యూ అండర్స్టాండ్ 15 minutes of what we had discussed, ఈ రోజు ఏంటి అనేది, barriers అంటే ఏంటి, obstacles అంటే ఏంటి, all means the same, obstacles, hindrances, or what is that, hurdles. So generally inclusive education unsuccessful కావడానికి what would be the reasons అంటే sometimes you may twist the question. So attitude of the teachers, instruction of the teachers, okay, and the physical, ఇది వాళ్ళకి ఫిజికల్ ఫెసిలిటీస్ లేకపోతే, ఓకే. తర్వాత కరికులం, మీరు ఏంటంటే మీరు ఇది ఎలా రిప్రజెంట్ చేయాలంటే మీరు సెకండ్ సెమ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్ రాసిన ఒక సర్కిల్ రాయాలి, బ్యారియర్స్ టు ఇంక్లూజివ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్. మరి మనం చిన్నప్పుడు సూర్యుడు ఎలా డ్రా చేస్తాము, ఇలా ఒక సర్కిల్ డ్రా చేసి ఇలా లైన్స్ కొట్టి కాన్సెప్ట్ మ్యాపింగ్ ఎలా చేస్తాం, అలాగే బ్యారియర్స్ టు ఇంక్లూజివ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్, డ్రా లైన్ అండ్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు రైట్ attitudinal, then we have to write instructional, then we have to write physical, then we have to write curriculum, then we have to write funding, then we have to write socio-economic, then we have to write education, language and communication, okay. So then we have to write teachers. So what happens is that, so that itself make up aim points through concept mapping. Generally please present your answers through concept mapping. మీరు ఆ కాన్సెప్ట్ ని మీరు అక్కడ ఇచ్చేయండి. Did you follow my point? Wherever see, for all the answers it may not be possible, but for such where you have point wise, try to put it in the form of a tree diagram or whatever it may be. Make it presentable so that you will get good marks. Understood?
No, in my first semester I did the same, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
That's what. That's the thing. So what happens is that nowadays the persons those who are correcting your paper will not have the patience to read each and everything. So just by looking at the concept, ma'am, okay, this student knows better, because that itself first impression. Oh, she has given all the points. So they will not go through in detail the remaining stuff. Just if they know that, if they see the picture or concept mapping, she has given all the points, that impression itself will be there. Okay, fine. They'll give the marks, and that is good. See what happens? It covers 25% of your page. Okay, you don't have to drag the answers too long. Understood? Shall I wind up the session? Tomorrow, Monday, I'll take. This is very important. What we have discussed today is very important from the examination point of view. See, we may have up to December. For that purpose, I don't want to run. For a fast come on, you take this, you take that. No. Whatever I have told 45 minutes, if you understand at least 15 minutes of that, it's more than sufficient. Understood? Shall I wind up?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's snacks and tea time for most of the students. They have to prepare, they have to do, they have to have. Okay?
Ma'am,
Okay then.
a small announcement, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, regarding Bhagavad Gita session, if anyone who is interested can ping me, because I have registered for that. I can forward the link.
Okay. I think everyone has your contact number, Nitish. So, if at all anyone is interested in Bhagavad Gita, see, of course, in your busy schedule, if you can try to take some time, and definitely it is going to help you. See, if not you, ask your relatives or whoever is there, so that it would be good. అంటే భగవద్గీత మనం భగవద్గీత అనేది ఏంటంటే జస్ట్ పేరు విన్నాం కానీ వాట్ ఈస్ ఇట్ అనేది మనకు ఐడియా ఉండదు. ఎవరికి ఈవెన్ నాకు కూడా పెద్దగా ఐడియా లేదు. కానీ నా
Ma'am, actually, the other last week Nitish told me that enrollments are done.
Yeah.
So I thought I was supposed to. I told my friend who is interested in enrolling herself, but then I thought that was the last day, so I did not approach Nitish.
No, again he has actually now he is suggesting that in case if anyone is interested, they can ping him. So in person you can ping, otherwise you can post a message to Nitish. If anyone is interested, not only you. Nitish, is it okay in case even apart from our students, if anyone is interested, they can contact you, I suppose?
Yes, ma'am. Sure. Of course. No barriers, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now he's implementing. Okay, fine. Okay then, I'll wind up the session. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay then. See you tomorrow. See you on Monday. See you on Monday.
Okay, ma'am. See you on Monday. Have a nice weekend, ma'am.
Enjoy your Sunday. See you on Monday. Enjoy your Sunday.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.